Give your YouTube videos or short films that extra punch with some high-quality stock footage from Action VFX. Affiliate link below.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Graboid-tober. This time around, we will be reviewing Tremors 5, Bloodlines.
Yep. The fifth movie that came out 25 years after the original movie. I was 25 at the time. This was an opportunity for me to not only to try to finally review this movie without the nostalgia goggles as a film critic, as now someone who's watched a lot of movies, and first time viewing, I failed.
I think we all did.
Yeah. But 3 years, 3 years can change a person's point of view. And at first, I kind of thought this was kind of crappy, just not as good as the past movies. But nowadays, my opinion has changed. Let's see. I think it's Ian, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, good. It was silent on my end. All right. It's let's see. It's a pretty good story that introduces a new idea to Graboid mythology, and as well as try to expand the scope of the legacy of Burt Gummer and his hunt against these creatures.
Yeah.
All right. What did you think, Ian?
Oh, I love this movie. This movie actually holds a special place in my heart because I believe I said this back when we first reviewed the original film. I didn't know about Tremors until Jurassic World came out on DVD. There was a trailer for Tremors 5 on there, and that first introduced me to it. And the trailer looked really good, but to preserve what the story was for myself, I went back and watched through all of them when they aired on TV. So, yeah, this film actually introduced me to Tremors. And now I'm part of this freakish cult where we worship worms.
Hey, better than Scientology where they worship aliens.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's a discussion for another day.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the other day being never.
I never specified which day.
Well, yeah, I know I don't want to talk about Scientology. Well, unless we review Tom Cruise's The Mummy. Anyway,
if you fans want us to do that, leave it in the comments.
Yeah, but anyway, we're talking about the worms. All right, so the premise of Tremors 5 Bloodlines is that Burt Gummer is hired to go to South Africa because of a possible ass blaster attack, and it turns out. Not only do the ass blasters, but its Graboid's predecessors exist in South Africa. They are bigger, meaner, and more evolved and more efficient. And along the way, he's reluctantly partnered with Travis B. Welker, played by Jamie Kennedy. We'll get, and if none of you remember who Jamie Kennedy is, either a Google search will probably bring up either Malibu's Most Wanted or his Greatest Shame, Son of the Mask. But all in all, it's just kind of it's basically what Tremors is. It's a monster slaying movie. and it's kind of fun.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I love this movie. It feels like it has some of the horror and some of the comedy that the series tries to maintain.
I know.
With varying degrees of success.
Yeah, I feel like for me, this movie and its sequel, it finally embraced its B movie roots. So it's with its weird dialogue, it's the creatures just doing, and the creatures just randomly popping up and just doing all these crazy things. Like let's see, ass blasters that come out at night. The graboid's tentacles actually detach from the main body. Oh my god! So does that mean that?
So apparently now they're a symbiotic organism.
Yeah. So does that mean the graboids have 4 brains, 1 in the main body and 3 in the tentacles?
Well, I think they actually took a leaf out of like octopus biology, because octopus actually have, I think, 9 brains.
Wait, octopuses have brains in their tentacles?
Each tentacle can control itself.
Holy crap. Okay. Did not know that.
The brains aren't actually in the tentacles, but they each have their own mind, and mind if we want to put it in human terms, and can manipulate things individually.
Oh, kind of, sort of like the second brain in dinosaurs that control the tail.
That's a myth.
Oh, it's a myth?
Yeah, that's not a thing. That's just something most animals have.
Oh, okay.
Even humans, we have it.
We have a second brain in our tails? Wait,
it's not really a brain. It's an enlargement of nerve tissue, which basically and people took that to mean a brain, but it's not a brain.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it's a misconception.
Yeah.
All right. I think okay, but going back to what we were talking about, embracing the B movie. I think the other part that I liked is that Graboid decides to pull a great white shark movement and just leap out of the dirt and essentially breach to get its prey.
Yeah. And seeing as how this was made by Universal, we get it, Spielberg.
I don't know. I mean, even if it was done by Warner Brothers, I mean that still would be a thing, because that is something that happens in nature. I remember Shark Week that one year. All right. So anyway, coming to the characters is Burt Gummer. Burt Gummer returns, played by Michael Gross. Is like, geez, he just practically owns this series now.
Yeah, that's what they said in the special features.
He owns this series. It's just like Robert Downey Jr. seems to own Iron Man.
Pretty much.
He hasn't changed much, except getting 10 years older from the last movie that was released, which was Tremors 4. But he seems to be a little bit even more in survival mode. He's not only off the grid, but he appears to have his own TV show called The Survivalist.
Yeah.
I mean, which I don't know, he probably knows that kind of puts him on the grid just a little bit. But I think he probably thinks that's just a necessary sacrifice in order to teach people how to survive.
Yeah, and I really liked how they put that directly at the beginning, because it lets newcomers to the Tremors franchise know what we're up against here.
It is. I kind of agree with you somewhat. That the placement out there just kind of the placement kind of just feels a little bit out of place for me. But that's mostly because I grew up with this series. Because after it's done with Burt Gummer's promo, now we're into South Africa, where we get, of course, the obligatory monster death scene, and then that's when we get into the credits. But I don't know. Kind of take it for what it is. Either way, both both parts of it does exactly what it needs to do.
Yeah. Explain what we're up against and then kill somebody, thereby starting the conflict.
Yes. Let's see. Jamie Kennedy comes in as the secondary protagonist. Travis B. Welker. He's kind of the young person. He's kind of like what Grady Hoover and Jack in the first two sequels were, just kind of this young, young enthusiastic person that accompanies Bert, or Earl in Grady's case. But he's a lot different from the other ones. He actually has some experience. He has some experience, not with graboids, but he's a videographer that worked for news programs, getting footage of war areas, Afghanistan, Syria, that kind of thing. So he's not completely green. Ian, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to think of something to add.
Okay.
But yeah, he's not useless, aside from being, the obligatory graboid bait.
Yeah. He wasn't even much graboid bait in this movie either.
Yeah, I mean, he's fairly knowledgeable about firearms as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll get. Oh yeah, there's like a separate category later on in this review, because this whole movie feels like it's just chock full of Easter eggs and callbacks from the previous movies.
Oh yes.
But he says he's a fan of Bert, but he's also not that kind of fan that just praises everything he says as the word. He actually even holds his own against Bert. I mean, even calling him out on his crap.
Yeah.
And this is what gives us brings back the good chemistry that we've had from the first few movies. And of course, it's revealed later on in the third act that Travis is actually Bert's son.
Yes, from a one-night stand in
Florida. Yeah, his illegitimate son. Which, I gotta say, I kind of saw that coming.
Yeah, especially with the subtitle.
With a subtitle like Bloodlines and and just the dialogue from Travis, it's kind of making it fairly obvious that there's a connection between the two.
Pop.
Mm-hmm.
Old man.
Yeah, you did something in Florida.
What do you know about Florida?
All right, so but what brings Bert to South Africa is he's contacted by this guy Van Wyck, or as he pronounces it, Van Vake. It's kind of weird, of a possible graboid attack. And Ian, did you get kind of an Alfred Molina vibe from him?
I actually don't know who that is.
He played Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Oh man.
like
And Vigo.
and he was the voice of Vigo, and also the bad guy in The Sorcerer's Apprentice, which also starred Jay Baruchel.
Conspiracies.
Actually came out the same year as the first How to Train Your Dragon.
Conspiracies.
Or coincidence.
But yeah, I did get a bit of that. Yeah, I did get a vibe from him. I mean, right from the get-go. I mean, it wasn't as blatant as, Iron Man, where you know exactly who the villain is.
I know. But yeah, he does. But he was kind of. I guess that's actually good on the actor's part, because he was able to switch from being like this very friendly guy to just being an absolute asshole.
Oh yes, and he's not even a good asshole like in RoboCop. He's a dick.
Yeah. So okay, on our hierarchy of insults, asshole outranks dick.
I think it just weighs how you use it and the actor and what he does.
Okay. Fair enough.
There's varying levels of how you use it and connotation.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have an official scale. I should make one up.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, kind of like the scale of overacting.
The scale of hamminess.
Yeah, that we used to have. All right, now the other characters. Well, there's the hunter. I forget his name.
I got it here. It is Johann Dreyer.
Dreyer, right? That's it. Dreyer. Who just. Well, you look at. I mean, you don't need to hear him speak. You just look at him. You look at his. The goggles that he wears, his haircut, and you can just tell that he's a hunter.
Yeah, and you know he's going to die.
Mm-hmm. He actually did get one of the best last lines in the movie.
Yeah,
you can't.
That was funny.
You can't kill me. I'm African.
Splat.
And then of course there's the natives. Which I actually do remember their names. Well, two of them. There's Dr. Nandi, who runs the reservation. She's a veterinarian, but don't let the occupation fool you. I mean.
Yeah, she's not to be messed with.
Yeah. She has a daughter, and I'm guessing she's a widow because the dad just is not mentioned, so I'm guessing he's out of the picture.
Yeah, either widow or divorce.
Mm-hmm. And then there's Baruti. Who's Baruti? I actually forget.
He has a thing.
He has a thing for Nandi, and you know they get together at the end because he comes into his badassery. You know, when trying to rescue the daughter from an ass blaster.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite sequences.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get to favorite sequences.
Yeah.
Are we missing anyone else? Or?
Well, there was the big guy. The big guy at the end that got killed off by the ass blaster.
Yeah, let me do a quick Google search here. It's not on Wikipedia. Is it on IMDb?
Taba.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I really liked him. Especially with the kind of chemistry that he had with Jamie Kennedy. You know, he goes, is that racist? That sounds a little racist. Bushist. I mean, so yeah, he kind of, so he has this this snarkiness, this playfulness to some of the other characters, and so when he got killed off by an ass blaster, I was like, no, don't kill him. I kind of would have liked to see more of him.
Yeah, I wish they left him alive so we could see him again in a future movie.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that's all of the more important characters.
Yeah, I think aside from that, it's just the extras and such.
Mm-hmm. All right, so how about the Graboids? This is kind of interesting. This movie adds kind of more, I don't know, I guess meat in a way to Graboid biology and even mythology or biology, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
They really gave an overhaul on the design.
Yeah, I know. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one thing that not only I think even the North American species kind of got a redesign, and it's not even mentioned at all. It's not. They don't reference it at all. I mean, remember in the prologue, Bert's promo, where it shows kind of like an computer animatic of how a graboid grabs its victims.
Yeah,
and that was the first.
I actually think that might have been just something that the animation studio had on hand, and it said, it'll work.
All right.
Because in the B-roll of all the previous Graboid movies, like all the shots from the movies, they still stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that might have just been something that the makers did just to fill in that time spot instead of, making a whole new model and then animating that. They just used like a test footage.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
That's my hypothesis anyway.
Yeah. It's seeing this Graboid design, after years of watching the first 4 movies, it kind of tears me in two about this. For one, I love the old design of the Graboids, but seeing that with the African variety, those actually kind of feel a little bit more organic.
Yeah.
Whereas the previous ones feel more streamlined.
Yeah, I mean, these new Graboids, they have spines all over the freaking place.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more gritty.
Mm-hmm. And
they, my goodness.
It even looks like their body, it kind of rotates almost like a drill when they go through the earth.
Yeah. And based on that, you gotta think, did the makers of this movie watch the Dragon series and see the Whispering Death?
Probably. I mean,
it's like, that's a good idea. Let's use it.
I mean, art doesn't just come out of nowhere. It comes from somewhere else. I mean, let's see. The Whispering Death. Its intro could have possibly come from Tremors, and so the people of making
it most definitely did.
And the people making the 5th movie they probably not only saw Tremors but saw the Dragon series and thought, I like the teeth of that dragon. Let's see if we can put that into the Graboid of this one.
Yeah. And they did a good job. This thing's terrifying.
It is. Unfortunately, I don't like the design of the ass blaster.
No?
No. It just kind of looks it doesn't look anything like It doesn't look anything like it came from a graboid. It just looks like a festering, mutated ballsack chicken.
Oh God.
Like maybe something from a Dave Cronenberg movie.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sort of mixed about the Ass Blaster design, because on the one hand, it's freaking terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it has going back to the Whispering Death, it has multiple rows of teeth and a circular mouth.
Yeah. That I do kind of like that one. That part of the design.
Yeah, but then there's like the spines on the tail that it uses to. They gave it a tail.
Yeah.
An actual longer tail, and for me, it's hard to. It was on my initial viewing. It's kind of hard to say which end is which.
I was thinking the same thing.
I mean, with the original Ass Blasters, it's kind of easy. The head is smooth and black.
Mm-hmm. And it has the same beaks. It has the same beaks as a graboid.
Yes, and the Shriekers.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, it's kind of difficult to tell.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, there's no Shriekers in this movie.
No, although they did get name dropped.
Yeah, they did. I mean, I think even Bert seems to mirror our question. Where the hell are the Shriekers?
Yeah. And in that same segment, he seems to be catching on to like the B-movie roots of it.
Mm-hmm.
What's next? Graboids that talk.
Oh God! Don't give the studio ideas.
Well, remember, this is the same studio that made Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah.
Alan.
Yeah, but that was a dream sequence.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, raptors did talk in that, but they didn't speak human English.
Oh yeah.
And okay, yeah. That kind of seems to be it on just the graboid designs.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know what we should go to next, because there's still a few more that I'd like to, there's still a few more things I'd like to talk about.
Go ahead.
Oh, where can we go? I guess I can talk about the production of this.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, the behind the scenes stuff. So seeing how this came out in 2015, even everything kind of got upgraded. Not aside from the visual effects, that still kind of looks fairly obvious, but the electronic equipment that kind of went into making this, in the old days it was shot on just regular celluloid film cameras. For Tremors 5 and even its sequel, they use the new DSLR cinema cameras. So it was shot in high clarity HD, and so it could be also color graded in post production, and so it was shot with a red epic, which is used a lot nowadays in Hollywood movies. The Arri Alexa, again, that's like the king. That's a brand that's like the king of Hollywood cameras. So yeah, everything got upgraded. It is a Tremors for a new generation, for the new decade. It used a lot of modern techniques, and even remember in the third movie when there were some sequences where it would get choppy, the movement.
Yeah.
Well, I think they actually did get a competent director and camera operator, because that style of shooting was actually used fairly well, and it was used for the right moments. It's like the climax scene where the final, with the final graboid in that ring.
Yeah.
As well as a good use of slow-mo. The climax, I actually think the climax is actually one of my favorite sequences in this movie. And
yeah, I can agree. It looks really good.
Yeah, I'm pretty much just rambling, trying to find a foothold in what we can talk about.
What about the use of live animals?
Yeah, there were some live animals. Oh yeah, and it actually was shot in the South African reservation, so there is that extra sense of realism. So yeah, that was a real lion that they used.
Yeah, and if it was CG, I don't think we can get them looking that good.
Yeah, I don't think it shows that all the money was put into making the lion realistic. Let's see. I did notice that there was a little bit of extra blood when it came to killing off the creatures. Especially with the grabbers. Van Wyck was just covered from head to toe and just in what looks like custard. When you mix mustard and ketchup.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just like extra. Yeah, they just put in an extra gallon of monster blood in the. And so,
yeah,
it was noticeable, but something to kind of, I guess, to separate it from its predecessors. And
did you also notice the slightly more human blood? Like, we saw more blood from humans in this?
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, we did. There was a lot more blood.
Maybe it's just from the time we're in, where we're,
it was,
more tolerant of it.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. There was a lot more blood. I mean, the only blood that I can remember from the Tremors series was the nosebleed that Walter had before the graboid got him, and the back of that paleontologist from Tremors 3. It's nothing way too bloody. But yeah, the movie decided to try to up the gross factor.
Yeah, I mean, oh boy, we have.
I mean,
what is the large man's name again?
The large man, Taba.
Yeah, we have Taba being near eviscerated.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Van Wyck.
Van Wyck, yes.
Slightly bleeding, but it happened off screen.
It happened off screen, and okay. And I kind of thought it funny that even when he was trying to run for his life, he still doesn't spit out the cigar in his mouth.
Oh my god! And he's still holding the damn cooler.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it gets taken in, it's just a random cooler sliding across the ground. That's funny.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I think maybe because they've, the egg was in there. They finally got the egg. They don't need that thing.
Yeah, then just spit it back out.
Yeah. Yeah. My egg.
He's still bending out about the egg. Never mind the giant worm tunneling towards you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Music?
Music is it's kind of bland for me. I mean, I don't really notice it too much.
Yeah, it's not exactly memorable, but from
aside from the climax.
Yeah.
Yeah, music, I mean, it's bland enough that you don't notice it, but at the same time, it does fit the moment that is trying to be conveyed.
Yeah.
It's not something.
It says here on Wikipedia, music was by, oh man, I'm going to butcher this name. I'm so sorry, sir. Frederick Weidman.
Yeah, I got that on IMDb. Yeah, I don't know what his credits are. I'll check it out.
Already on it.
Okay.
Filmography.
Okay, so he's an Emmy award-winning composer.
Yeah. He did quite a few films. He did Justice League's The Flashpoint Paradox, JLA Adventures, Trapped in Time, Son of Batman, Justice League, Batman and Robin, Justice League, Gods and Monsters, Batman Bad Blood, Justice League versus Teen Titans, Teen Titans, The Judas Contract, and Batman Gotham by Gaslight.
All right,
and he did some stuff on television as well.
Mm-hmm. So he does a lot of the DC animated movies.
Yeah, he mostly does the DC stuff. The only thing on here in the primary paragraph is Tremors 5, Bloodlines, and Shut In.
Oh, let's see. He also did the music for Tremors: A Cold Day in Hell.
Oh, that's not on here.
It's on IMDb.
Yep, it's right here on Wikipedia too. A Cold Day in Hell.
Okay.
Apparently, he worked on it with Brian Mantia. Okay. I can't. The music was pretty good. However, question on IMDb: does it say anything about the budget for the movie?
Yeah, it should. Yeah, it should. Let me bring that up. Let's see.
Because it's not on Wikipedia, oddly enough.
Okay. Let's see. Checking. Spec detail. Oh. Oops. Yeah, this will take a bit.
But yeah, based on the other Tremors films, the first one had a budget of $11 million. Then the second one had a decent amount less.
4 million.
Yeah. The third one had a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And the fourth one, I think, even had a little more, but for some reason it didn't look as good. I think.
Yeah. I'm not finding a budget on its page.
Hmm.
That's strange.
Yeah, we found something for the rest of the films.
Yeah. Oh well.
Favorite moment?
The climax, of course.
Yeah.
It was very decently paced. It was shot very well, and it was kind of a good kind of like just like its predecessor. It established something that would become plot relevant later on at the end. And
Yeah.
and I think that's got to be like the best graboid death ever.
Yeah.
I mean, struck by lightning, and
Being split and open like a freaking banana.
yes. Let's see. What about yours?
I actually have two. The first one for me would be the cave scene where Travis goes in the cave.
That is a good one too.
And sticking with my Jurassic Park loving roots, the kitchen scene.
yes. Yeah, they took a scene from Jurassic Park. Let's. All right,
Heck, they even gave the ass blasters 2 hooked claws.
I know. I think when I first saw that, I was actually expecting it to tap the floor.
Yeah, part of me wishes they did that.
Let's see. I just remembered a couple other things that I did want to talk about. Let's see. The cinematography is actually pretty decent in this movie. Yeah, 4 had pretty bland basic cinematography. This one, there's several good shots in this. I think my favorite one is after the first graboid attack. You know, where it kills the 2 paleontologists in the shower.
Yeah.
Also, I had this in my mind. That death scene in the shower, it kind of looked more like a deleted sex scene from Sam Raimi's Evil Dead.
And for some reason, I don't know why, but I got a distinct Psycho vibe.
Probably because of the shower.
Yeah, and the blood and the wine and all that jazz.
All right, but after that scene, it's when Bert is overlooking the crime scene as we'll call it. We get a close-up shot of his feet, and then he practically stomps onto the ground, and then we cut to the camera just tracking outward, like very fast-paced and jittery. It's a low angle, and it used a wide angle lens, and it was I like that because it's very different from the Tremors, the previous Tremors movies.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of where a little bit of my editing experience comes into play, is that I think there was a little bit of post-production added to the shake, especially when the graboid is just about to kill the 2 paleontologists. and that, and I don't think I'm wrong on this, because I know that these new cameras nowadays, they can actually shoot in 4K, and what's done nowadays is that when you shoot in 4K, but you edit it at like a smaller resolution, so you can so in post-production you shrink the image to fit the screen. So since 4K is bigger than 1080p, that kind of allows a lot of freedom to kind of frame your shot however you need it. And also it kind of allows you some freedom in post-production, like say add a little bit of a shake so that the video file doesn't go out of frame and reveal some black background.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just wanted to talk about the post. I just mentioned that so I could talk about the post production.
On the attention to detail, I have to applaud that paleontology dig. It's based on the little bit we saw of it. It seemed very accurate. The only thing they were missing though was the mapping grid.
Okay.
Yes, because during even large-scale excavations, we use a mapping grid, which is basically a decent-sized, several-meter wide wire grid that we place over the specimen so we can map each and every detail.
Okay.
So we can refer it back to later, so we can do taxonomy and pathology on it.
Oh, okay.
They were missing that, but aside from that, it looked pretty good.
All right.
They even made a reference to the first movie,
I know.
National Geographic.
I know. I think that's kind of a good segue into talking about how it's chock full of Easter eggs and callbacks to the previous movies.
Oh yeah.
I think went on my first initial viewing, and even my reviewing last year, my Facebook post, my 31 days of horror last year, I stated how the dialogue and callbacks and Easter eggs seem to make up a majority of this movie, and I think maybe I was a little too harsh on it. But yeah, let's see. There's the National Geographic. There's the National Geographic line. Then there's also the Consider It Stepped On.
Yeah.
And of course, the most obvious Easter egg is the HK-91.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I miss it. And to some extent, you.
Yeah. Yeah. Just for those of you who don't remember, in Tremors 2, Heather and Bert split up, and how Bert knew that Heather wasn't going to be coming back is that she told him to send the HK-91, which I guess is a very sentimental firearm for both of them. So that's kind of what makes the beginning when Travis brings it out just kind of a little funny. It's like
And Bert's eyes get wide, and I swear it looked like he was drooling.
And let's see. I think there were a lot of other there were some other Easter eggs to it. Oh, of course, Bert does reference being in the belly of a graboid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also, need to know information.
That was it. Why didn't
He...
mm-hmm. Let's see.
Why does need to know information never make it to Bert Gummer?
Yep. Let's see. I think that's all that I can remember right now. Wait. How do I guess this is also kind of you got to think about this one to get the reference. Let's see. How do Bert and Travis get to the helicopter? They cause a stampede.
Oh man. That's a subtle one, but once you get it, you're never gonna forget it. Oh man.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it is very subtle. That's actually one of the good and I like subtlety. I like subtle references. And I think that's all I can think of. Well, unless of course you know when Nandi and Baruti are in the shop.
Yep.
In the shop, and that the one victim just reaches out from a hole in the floor and is all bloody. I think is kind of an echo to Walter Chang, how he met his end.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of references to this. Let's see, and I think the quote about the HK-91 kind of actually reminded me my second favorite moment. I didn't think I had a second favorite moment in this movie, and that was Bert in the cage.
Oh, that was so weird.
It's weird. It's painful, but it is memorable.
Oh my goodness. He has some serious heat stroke.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and it's very rare to see Bert Gummer at his most vulnerable.
Yeah. Almost naked.
Mm-hmm.
In a cage in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
With a lion circling around him, and he's just doing all this.
It's like,
what would we call that?
I think we call that a grizzly man moment.
Maybe.
Oh no, we're getting to know each other.
Oh, shade at last.
Mm-hmm. And I guess the whole moment when he's in the cage is just lends itself to some good comedy, especially when he's dragged by Travis.
Oh my gosh. I think I'll walk the rest of the way.
I think you missed that last rock. Yeah. I guess Tremors 5, I guess the last Easter egg is, of course, the title card.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while since we saw that, and I missed it. It's so good to see it again.
The tectonic plates, and also opens up on one of our main characters pissing.
Yeah.
Oh, so, take it for what it is. Tremors 5, the best in the series. I don't. Okay.
I think for me, it's tied with number 2.
Oh, all right. Actually, okay. I think I might have to restate. I think I have to restate that because that's actually a good. I think that's actually a good way to end the review. All right. All right. Hold on. I'm gonna find my place. Ian, is there anything else we can talk about?
Ratings, because we always do ratings.
Oh, the ratings, right? Yes, ratings. Let's see. If I guess I would give Tremors 5 Bloodlines probably a 7, maybe 7.5 out of 10. I mean, it's not the best it's not the best entry into the series, but I can see it as just very entertaining. Just entertaining, just as a movie from a movie standpoint, and I gotta give praise to the people involved making this, because there was a lot of thought put into it.
There was, yeah. For me, I have to put it back with alongside Tremors 2. I completely forget what I ranked that one, but it feels like a solid sequel, and some of the moves they made with Graboid and Ass Blaster biology, it makes sense. Like with hunting in a hot climate, Ass Blaster being able to see heat would be better suited for it at night. That makes sense to me. But overall, with the tense scenes, the comedic scenes, it really just fits in line with Aftershocks very well.
Yeah, I agree. And so, is Tremors 5 like the best entry into the series? No, I think the first one still holds the mantle of that. But
yeah,
but is it a worthy entry? Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
All right. Unless there's anything else you want to talk about, Ian.
No, I think that's it.
All right. We will conclude this review. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to both of our channels. Give this video a like, and join us next time for the 6th and final entry for Graboid-tober, where we'll be reviewing Tremors: A Cold Day in Hell. See you there.